That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is episode 51, CEO 316 from June 1999. I'm Mike Prue along with JV. JV, what's going on this week?
Nothing much, man. It's a little odd because we actually did the watch along of the pay-per-view match, which we'll be covering last. But
we did the main event before the build-up.
Yeah, so when I was going back today and kind of freshening up on this because, just the way that, things aligned for us, it was weird because I was like, I'm like, wait, didn't? And then I was like, oh, yeah, we already saw the end match.
Yeah, because some of the stuff that we watched in the opening segment, the video package for the match last week, were things that we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah, right.
So we just pretty much seen it all. But now we're going to cover it in detail this week, so we can't just skip it because we did the watch along. We want to give the full story of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, we're not skipping here. No skipping.
So
this ain't a schoolyard.
So we just covered the first 50, and now we're starting our second 50. So here we are with episode 51, and I think it's going to take at least another 50 episodes to get through the rest of Austin's career. So we might be at a midway point, I'm thinking, with episode 50. So now we are here going on to the second half of the game. Second half of the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, and it's a fun one. It's
season 2.
Season
2 of the Bottom Line Cast.
Yeah, it makes sense because we had that little buffer last week with the special edition watch along. So here we are, starting off again. And like all things with TV shows, the second season or series coming back, it's a little different. And I think this is the beginning of getting a more comedic Steve Austin the rest of the way. There's obviously been the moments where he's funny, he drives in his Zamboni and shit, but now he's actually getting some funny lines, and we're going to see that here in action as he becomes the CEO, and he's going to have some office skits throughout the first episode of Raw that we're going to cover.
Yeah, and I think that's my favorite Stone Cold is what we're about to cover when he's, he's fun.
Right, fun Steve Austin.
Because we don't, what's going to be coming at some point.
2001, I think. Yeah. So, that'll be coming up all in the next 50 episodes. So stick with us and start right here with episode 51, CEO 316. Before we really get into it, though, I also want to bring up that JV and I do the Extreme ECW Live Cast on the Book in the Territory Patreon feed. And today we're coming out with ECW Hardcore TV episode 23 and 24 that we're covering. And that is September 14th and September 21st of 1993. And during that, they're coming off of their second big major supercard, or the third one, actually. It was one that we didn't cover because it was before they had a TV show. But this is Ultra Clash 93, and we're starting to get some more of the well-known Extreme Championship wrestlers, like Shane Douglas, Public Enemy, and we also have Joey Styles in commentary now. Paulie Heyman's been there for a while. He's actually just took over as booker. Eddie Gilbert's out now at this point. So things are going in the direction of Extreme at this point. So if you don't want to go and listen to the first 10 episodes that we did covering that early part, that's fine. But you want to pick up here, then you're in for a good ride because we get into the good shit that you probably want to watch about ECW. But based on what JV and I have covered, I would say don't sleep on that early stuff. That gives you the full viewpoint of ECW. So if you're interested,
it's good. It's I don't know. It's like the prequel.
Yeah, it's like the
prequel is always interesting.
It's like the missing prequel, the prequel you didn't know you wanted to see, and it's like, this is related to that thing that I like, so I guess I'll check it out.
You're not getting it the best part of the story.
Right.
But it's the
it's still
important.
It's like when Gotham came out on Fox. It's like, I like Batman, but I don't know if I want to watch 12-year-old Batman, 12-year-old Bruce.
Yeah.
And that ended up being pretty
and they
good.
didn't even do it right. It was,
Well,
no, that show
at
sucked.
times it was good.
I liked the first season and a half, and it just go.
That's what I would say. First 2 seasons, I like some of the villains making their debuts and all that. But anyway.
Yeah, but then, whatever.
So anyways, that's our pitch for ECW. Let's go back and check out the prequel there. It's on the Booking the Territory Patreon feed. It's a $5 tier. So support those guys. And if you're not a fan of Booking the Territory, check their podcast out because it's some great stuff, and we plug it every week. I'll talk more about it at the end of the show. So let's now move on to basically, we already kind of recapped what we talked about last time. Our last episode was the watch along, and we'll talk about that main event in brief at the end of our Austin segment today. We're not going to go into full detail because we want you to go back and, if you haven't listened to the watch along, listen to the watch along and get all the details to the match. And prior to that, what are you going to say, JV?
I said, and this is a robust episode.
There's a whole lot.
There's a lot of audio, so in consideration of your listening time, it just plays out that way. In that we have to kind of breeze through the main event here.
Yeah, we definitely want to try to keep it around 2 hours at that. I'm feeling it might go over a little bit, which has been the case the past few times. So I don't see why this one wouldn't be as long. All right, so without further ado, where we last left off, Steve Austin had become CEO because Linda McMahon gave up her rights, or not her rights, but her share of the company along with Stephanie, and Steve Austin got half the company, and Shane and Vince have the other half. So I guess he has the larger portion, so he's now the CEO, and that's what we're going to be going into this week, and we're gonna see what he does as a CEO. And we left off with June 7th, 1999 Raw. So the next show would be Heat 46 from June 13th, 1999. That was taped the next night on June 8th. But there's no Austin appearances, so we'll move on beyond that and move on to the next Raw, which was taped that same very day on June 8th, 1999 from Worcester, Massachusetts. It aired on June 14th, 1999. And the show opens off with a nice video package that talks about the Greater Power storyline. And they actually made it look like it made some sense, which is what they can do with video packages.
Yeah, they can tie it all together. They can tighten up all the plot holes a little, or at least hide them
exactly.
better.
So if someone is watching it,
to take your attention away from them.
So if somebody's tuning in for the first time, hadn't watched it in a few months, they won't know. They'll just be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," and not know that it was some wacky stuff there. So we get a shot right at the beginning of the episode, and it says that this is all footage from earlier. All this Austin footage is going to be from earlier in the night. And they show Vince McMahon's parking spot at Titan Towers, or WWF headquarters as they're calling it. And his name, Vince McMahon's name, is spray painted with an X. And then they zoom up, and then Austin has his name and a skull painted in the spot. So pretty cool right there right away.
Yeah, solid vandalism.
Yep. But even the creativity to have, the Austin skull in the parking spot. It took some effort to get that spot there.
Yeah, whoever wrote this episode did a hell of a job, because this is actually Raw 316 is a hell of a.
Oh, that's the other thing. It's Austin 3. It's Raw 316.
Oh yeah.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, so I'll always remember this Raw now. Like, oh, what was Raw 316? I couldn't tell you what any Raw number is, probably.
No.
But Raw 316. No, I couldn't, because I can't. I would have thought of one. I told you. But I'll always remember Raw 316 as being
CEO 316.
CEO Stone Cold. Yeah, CEO 316.
All right, so
I should probably get the episode name right there, huh?
So we're gonna go into a series of skits, and we're gonna play every single damn one of them. Because they're damn good, and we'll talk about them after we play each one. So the first one I've entitled Secretary, so part 1 of Austin's first day on the job. Take a listen.
Good morning, World Wrestling Federation. How may I help you?
All right, guys, everybody's on time. I like it. I like it a lot. Tell you what, my first day on the job, I'm going to check out the office situation, make sure everything's cool. I'm going to come back. I'll get back with you. I'll tell you exactly what we're going to do, all right?
All right, Smokey.
Hang tight.
Good morning,
Beautiful.
World Wrestling Federation. How may I help you?
All right, honey, what's going on?
Good morning, Mr. Austin. How are you today?
You doing good? You doing all right?
Good, thank you.
Are you working hard?
Very hard, sir.
All right, first day on the job, where's my office?
Your office? It's on the top floor.
Top floor.
Excuse me 1 second. Good morning, World Wrestling Federation.
What's that? Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. What was that?
I was answering the
Do you
phone.
always answer the phone like that?
Yes, sir.
How long you been working here?
I've been here a year now.
Let me take the next one. I'm going to show you how this is done. Give me that. Yeah, who the hell is this? Really? Well, what the hell do you want? Right, Vince McMahon. No, I fired that son of a bitch. Right. If he comes back and, yeah, I'm sure I'll have the son of a bitch give you a call. And remember, if I don't see you around here, I'll see you around. Here. That's how it's done, honey. Can you handle that?
Yes, sir.
If you can handle that, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
All right, where's my office?
Top floor.
Gotcha.
Who the hell is this? Yeah, what the hell do you want?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a day.
All right, so first off, before I even get into it, these are some of the most classic skits that I just remember. And I don't remember a whole lot from 99, 98, you know, of just Austin promos and skits. But this is one that had stuck with me, maybe because I ended up watching it again at some point, you know, maybe like 10 years after or so. But this was one that stands out to me as like, oh yeah, I loved when he was in the building and all that. So this first one is the secretary skit. And at first he's rallying up his men outside Titan Towers at the headquarters. And he has a crew of guys with wheelbarrows. And he says, you know, I'll get back to you guys in a little while. So he goes into the foyer. And there's the secretary on the phone saying, "Good morning, World Wrestling Federation." So Austin's like, huh? Looking at her all strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confused.
Tells her to hang up. So he said, I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you how to do it. Who the hell is this? Hell, well, what do you want? Vince McMahon. No, I fired that son of a bitch. So that's so funny. Just that in general, but what even makes it funnier to me is to think that Austin realistically could have just answered the phone on anybody and said that.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I'm like, yeah. And what are they going to say?
Right, because
Nothing.
they know it's, oh, shit, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm calling the WWF. What the hell's going on?
They're probably happy.
I doubt it is, but that would be fun if it was actually just a random call and Austin grabbed it.
Yeah.
And then just moments later, he teaches the girl to do it. So Austin's asking where his office is. She says on the top floor. The girl says that she can handle it. She gives him an oh, hell yeah. Then she answers the phone on the next call. And you can just hear her in the background. She has like this strong Jersey accent, I would say. New York or Jersey accent. And she's like, who the hell is this? What the hell do you want?
Yeah, what the hell do you want?
So that was pretty cool. And then from there, we get back into the main show. And it's Austin related, so we'll cover it. It's the corporate ministry coming out, Vince McMahon. And they're coming out with a crew. This crew just seems to be getting larger and larger. I mean, I guess Viscera takes up like 3 people, so it always just seems like there's not enough room out there.
No, but they're all the big guys and like they're
Right.
Viscera. You got the acolytes.
Right, you got Midian.
Triple H at this point is big. Midian's a big guy.
So yeah, Undertaker,
they're
Paul Bearer
legit.
takes up space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that too, Paul Bearer. Even their manager's a big guy.
So you get the asshole chance right away, and Vince McMahon's a little dicked off about it. So let's take a listen to what Vince McMahon has to say about Austin being the CEO.
This capacity crowd very adamant in their sentiments at the McMahon men and the entire corporate ministry. Look at that. Big bucks.
I must say, you're downright rude.
Right. Rude and crude.
You know, the only thing worse than Stone Cold being the World Wrestling Federation champion, and quite frankly, I didn't think there could be anything worse than that. But the only thing worse than that is Stone Cold being the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of our company.
The Black Day.
Now, last Monday night was to have been a celebration. Last Monday night was to have been a culmination of 3 months of blood, sweat, and tears, of 3 months of planning, scheming, and indeed executing the greatest Machiavellian plan in the history of the World Wrestling Federation. But sometimes plans go awry. And when they do, that tests the mettle of a man. It tests the mettle of an organization. And there are those among you who would think that there must be some cracks in the foundation of the corporate ministry now. There are some among you who feel as though the corporate ministry is about to dissolve. There may even be some of you who wish that the corporate ministry would in fact disintegrate. Well, that's only wishful thinking, because that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen tonight. That's not going to happen any night. You see, the corporate ministry is focused. The corporate ministry sets its sights on the future. And as such, Shane McMahon and I have given great deliberation to the future, great deliberation to the King of the Ring. Stone Cold Steve Austin has challenged Shane and Vince McMahon in a handicap match, which we, the McMahons, eagerly anticipate. The only question is, Shane, what sort of stipulation? What sort of stipulation are we going to add to this handicap match? Now, there's been some debate, quite frankly, Shane and I will admit, as to what the stipulation should be.
All right, so Vince McMahon's out there. Like I said, he's a little dicked off with the crowd, not letting him talk because the asshole chant has just taken over. He says, the only thing worse than Austin being WWF champion, I didn't think there could be anything worse, but the only thing worse is Stone Cold Steve Austin being the CEO of our company. McMahon says that from there, you put months into planning and scheming the greatest Machiavellian plot in history. So I had my little cheesy dad joke in there, and I wrote in the notes, I said, it should be Mick Machiavellian. I can't even say it, I can't even get it out. Machiavellian, but yeah. Mick Machiavellian, I guess you could say. Wah, wah.
yeah. Sorry.
It sounds like
you couldn't even get a fake
it sounds
one
like
out of
something
me.
that Jerry Lawler would say or something. Mick Machiavellian.
It sounds like something McMahon would say. like he would say after saying Machiavellian. He would then say, no,
Machiavellian.
To see him and then saying it. Yeah. McManavellian.
So he goes on from there.
And Shane would jump around all happy around him.
Sure.
Good job, Pops.
That's why you're the man. That's why you're the man.
Yeah, that's why you're the man.
So he says sometimes plans go awry, and that tests the man, and there may be cracks in the corporate ministry. There may be some of you that think that the corporate ministry will dissolve, and that's only wishful thinking. That's not going to happen tonight, not any night. So immediately, yeah, that's going to happen. Just him saying that is it's the end. They're going to break this up. And they should. This needs to end soon. Corporate ministry. It's just too big. Says the corporate ministry is focused. their sights on the future, and Shane and I have given great deliberation to the King of the Ring. And the McMahons have decided to accept Austin's match. Austin had put a challenge out at the end of the last Raw that we covered 2 weeks ago on episode 50. And Austin challenged him to a handicap match. And McMahon saying that they accept it. But what's a McMahon promo without adding some stipulations to any match? So McMahon's going to go into his agreement. These are the defined points of the agreement. He's saying that not only does there have to be stipulations for the match at King of the Ring, but he's going to put a bunch of other people through some stipulation matches tonight on Raw. So let's take a listen to Stipulation City by the corporate ministry, Vince McMahon.
Could be, but I've got an idea. Try this one on for size.
Go ahead.
What if we engage Austin in a dog pound match?
A what?
I'm listening.
Well, I think we need to see one first.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at a dog pound match here tonight. Why don't we take the road dog, Jesse James? Yeah. Let's put a dog collar around his neck.
Oh, yeah.
And let's put a dog collar around the neck of Mr. Ass.
Whoa.
Let's connect those dog collars with a nice good old dog chain. What about that? A dog pound match, boys, huh? How about
That's going to be a heck of a
I'm
match.
liking that.
Yes.
I'm liking that.
What a match.
You know what? This handicap match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and, of course, you and I, it's kind of like David versus Goliath. Of course, Austin being David and us being Goliath.
Yeah.
How about that for a match, Dad? How about that here for tonight? David versus Goliath match, where in one corner, playing the part of Goliath, will be none other than The Big Show.
Whoa.
In the other corner, playing the part of David, will be none other than my buddy XPAC X-Pac.
That's not fair.
Now what's going to happen? Will X-Pac be able to give the X Factor to The Big Show? Or will XPAC go up for the ride to the penthouse and receive the choke slam from hell?
Shane's brilliant.
I have another idea for you, speaking of hell. How about the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, the Acolytes? Play the part of Vince and Shane in a special handicap match. And tonight, in this very ring, playing the part of Stone Cold Steve Austin will be none other than Kane.
Man.
That's good.
Yes. One man versus two.
What if we have a blindfold match?
Oh, I'm liking this.
Austin in a blindfold.
Look at this.
But tonight we'll call it a blind date match.
Uh-oh.
You see, why don't we put a blindfold on Test?
Oh, yes.
You see, Test, you broke the rules when you took Shane's sister, my daughter Stephanie, out on a date. So, Test, you're going to have a blindfold on, and your opponent, who will have 20/20 vision, the Big Boss Man.
How are they coming up with this stuff on the fly, JR? They're brilliant. Boss Man likes it.
No, I got it.
What?
The handicap match, King of the Ring. The McMahons versus Stone Cold, and Austin's in a straight jacket.
Oh, come on.
A straight jacket match.
That's the best.
Let's take a look at that tonight. And who belongs in a straight jacket? How about the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock?
Yes. Shamrock in a straight jacket tonight.
And Shamrock in a straight jacket will be opposed in a non-title match against someone who have full usage of all of his limbs, none other than Jeff Jarrett.
Yes.
Now, I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that tonight is a night that you and the corporate ministry will remember for a long, long time.
What do you think, JR?
Hold it.
I'm in shock.
Hold it.
Wait a minute.
Hold it for a minute.
Patterson and Briscoe.
Hold it.
The Stooges.
Now, Vince, you look at me. Vince McMahon, I'm talking to you. I've known you for 20 long years. And Vince, you damn know that your daughter, Stephanie, is my godchild. What? I understand, Vince, that business is business. But how in the hell can you put your lovely daughter, my godchild, to such an ordeal? How can you do something like that?
Good question, Pat.
It's business, JR. Come on.
It's more than business. It's not business.
Patterson, are you questioning my judgment?
Yeah. You damn right I'm questioning you, and I want some answers.
Well, listen, pal, you better get right with yourself and with me, or otherwise you don't want to hear my answers.
Whoa, is that a threat?
Threat?
What, Vince, let me tell you something. If this is a threat, you and Shane can go straight to hell.
What? Man. And that's from one of McMahon's oldest confidants.
And while you and Shane, Mr. McMahon, are on that trip to hell, you better stop and get your own damn coffee.
What?
Oh, wait a minute. Before you depart, since I own your two asses, I'll tell you what. You know what you're going to do? You're going to be in this ring tonight, competing. Yeah, in a tag team match against Midian and Viscera. Well, this will be a night for all to remember.
My God, there's no doubt about that. And folks are apparently receiving footage from Stone Cold King. He's invading Mr. McMahon's office on this footage.
He's doing what? Right now he's invading Mr. McMahon's office? I can't wait to see it.
Ladies.
All right, so as I said, this is Stipulation City. You just heard it. It was one stipulation match after the other. And McMahon's basically trying out stipulations to decide in the end what match they should have at the King of the Ring. So he wants to see all the different types of matches. So you got the dog pound match. So that'll be the dog collar match between the Road Dogg and Mr. Ass, which that match sounds pretty good. You have the David versus Goliath match. So it'll be the Big Show versus X-Pac. So how can that be a stipulation, though, for McMahon and the McMahons against Austin? Was it supposed to be like the McMahons are the Goliath and Austin's the David because it's 2-on-1? Is that what they're trying to say there, I guess?
I don't know, because I was confused by that as well. Because, I mean... And technically, wouldn't Stone... I guess, yeah, they are trying to push... I don't know, because why would they put Stone Cold over as Goliath?
No, they wouldn't. They would say he's the David and they're the Goliaths. So...
Yeah, which is weird because it's actually vice versa. So that's why I was confused by... Because I had to like stop for a second as I was watching. I was like, what the fuck?
But then the next very match that they make a stipulation for is a handicap match. So they're testing out the handicap match, even though that is the match already. Yep. It is a handicap match, so why you got to test that out? So they put the Acolytes against Kane. That should be like a David Goliath, too. Even though Bradshaw and Farouk are big-ass dudes. And then we get a blindfold match, which is being called...
Yeah, the David and Goliath things just don't line up right.
Not at all. But the blindfold match is retermed a blind date match. It's going to be a blindfolded test versus the Big Boss Man. We're going to get a straight jacket match. Ken Shamrock versus Jeff Jarrett. It's a non-title match, which pretty much tells us that Jeff Jarrett's going to lose and not lose his title.
Yeah, right. That always gives away the ending.
So, I thought this was...
Stipulation City.
Yeah.
That's a good note.
That's basically what it was. One stipulation after the other. I also noted, Austin is the CEO, and his first Raw, he's not even at. And the fact that it was, Austin did this earlier at the headquarters made me think, well, he's going to show up later. He'll be on the show later tonight. But he's not.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, it is a good point though. Like he's the CEO right now,
He should be there,
and he's not running
he's
the show really. He's not running the money maker.
The show is being run by Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's making all these matches.
Yeah.
And Austin's the CEO, just screwing around at the office. Earlier in the day, he should be getting his ass to Raw later at night.
Yeah.
And
a shitty CEO.
Peyton Towers is in Connecticut, and they're in Worcester. So it's not super far away for them. Right.
A couple hours.
Well, he's the CEO, so he has his private jet.
Yeah, that too.
Well, anyway, it's not real. Damn it.
Yeah.
All right, so you're right.
But it's still a story.
Story straight. All right, so Briscoe and Patterson head out. They told Vince to hold on, and they're pissed off, and especially Patterson. Patterson's like, "I'm talking to you. You damn know that Stephanie is my godchild. How can you put her through such an ordeal? I want some damn answers." So, yeah, he was good here. Vince McMahon is like, "Oh, you're talking to me like that, basically?" Patterson tells me to go to hell. Then Briscoe jumps in the last second and says, "And you can get your own damn coffee." Comes in with a little line right at the end there. It's pretty funny. So McMahon says, "Oh, yeah, you want to do that? All right, you're going to be in a tag team match tonight against Mideon and Viscera." So there's all the stipulations. And then before we get to the next Austin segment, and I should have made a note for you to get the audio on this, but go back.
I watched this.
Yeah, it's funny. Go back, guys, and check this out. It's The Rock, Chef Boyardee music video. Getting chefy with it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, The Rock says, "Don't be a jabroni. Eat your Chef Boyardee ravioli." But it was so funny because it sounds like Will Smith singing because they're doing Getting Jiggy with it. But it sounds like
because he was
right,
popular again.
That's right at that time, and it sounds like Will Smith. It's a good impersonation of a Will Smith rapper, whoever sang the song. It's funny. Yeah, check that out. Getting chefy with it. I don't know who else. I didn't remember that The Rock did Chef Boyardee. So now Mankind did it. The Rock did it. I wonder if there's anybody else that I don't remember.
I forgot The Rock did it. Like I forgot all about this.
All right, so now we move on to our next part of Austin's first day on the job, and this time he's going to the CEO's office to check out his office on the top floor. Take a listen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the new CEO has apparently already been to his office and is now on his way to Mr. McMahon's office. What's he going to do there?
Now get your ass back to work. That son of a bitch. Hey, Vince McMahon.
Welcome, Mr. Austin.
Good morning, girls. You got to help me out a little bit here. I'm in a transition phase. Help me out. You are who and you do what?
I'm Danielle, and I get Mr. McMahon his coffee.
When do you? That's real special. And you?
I'm Giovanna, and I get Mr. McMahon his Chateaubriand.
I like a good wine every now and then myself.
And I'm Jill, and I'm their backup.
You're the backup. That's wonderful. All right.
Mr. Austin,
yeah.
Since it is my job, can I get you a cup of coffee?
Yeah, well, it's already 10 o'clock in the morning. You don't drink coffee at 10 o'clock in the morning where I come from. I'll take a cold beer instead.
Perhaps something to eat?
Come to think of it, my stomach is rumbling a little bit. I'll have another cold beer.
Can I get you a cold beer too, Mr. Austin?
No, honey, but I will take a Crown and 7.
Oh, Mr. Austin?
Yeah.
There's a board meeting in 5 minutes.
I don't like board games.
Oh my gosh, JR, looks like coffee breaks are being replaced by a happy hour.
All right, so Austin heads up to his office, tells somebody to get their ass back to work before he walks into the office. And he has 3 receptionists waiting to greet him, all lined up to see him. He asked the girls, he says, "Yeah, well, what do you do?" One girl says, "Oh, I get Mr. McMahon's coffee. I get Mr. McMahon's wine." And then the third one's, I'm a backup." Austin's like, "Okay, you're a backup." And so they ask him, you want any coffee?" Austin says, it's 10 a.m. It's too late for coffee. How about a cold beer?" And then the second one, "Are you hungry?" "My stomach's kind of rumbling." I'll have a cold beer. And then the third one just jumps in and says, do you want another beer? And then I'll take a Crown and 7. Then he walks into his office. And then the funniest part is right there at the end. You guys heard it. He says, Mr. Austin, you have a board meeting in 5 minutes. I don't like board games. And I think that's some of the greatest comedic timing that we've seen from Austin.
And it's so natural. It doesn't feel forced. It just seems natural to him. I don't know. Like he's responding like he'd respond even if he like
just normal.
Steve
right.
Austin.
It doesn't seem scripted.
Yeah. I mean, because Stone Cold is like Stone Cold in real life.
That's how good he is at it.
Like that's
yeah, it really is.
All the time, because on IPAs and shit. It's all about beer.
Yep. So Austin does go to that board meeting, and he has his orientation manual that he's going to hand out to everybody. Has his image on the cover of it, and he's going to go around the table and ask everybody what they do. So take a listen to this first board meeting with CEO Austin.
Can't wait to see it.
Well, this happened earlier today in the world headquarters in Stanford. Take a look at this footage.
All right, gentlemen, and I use that term somewhat loosely. The reason I call this meeting here today, our first meeting together, so maybe we get to know each other on a one-to-one basis here. What I hold in my hands is the new orientation manual, and I expect each and every one of you to memorize this thing front to back, back to front, whatever you got to do. You've got to understand what direction this company is now going. You, take that, and if he can't read, you read it to him. Let's start. Let me move his office supplies out of the way so I can see you. Let's get to know each other. Let me ask a few questions, find out what you do, what your damn names are.
This ought to be
sir,
good.
You do what, and you are who?
I'm Dennis O'Rourke, Senior Vice President of Marketing, Research, and Development.
Really?
Wow.
Is that supposed to impress me?
I hope so.
Well, you're fired.
What?
What did I do?
You're fired for looking stupid. Now get your ass out the door. I said get your ass out the door.
I never did like that guy.
He's been here 9 years.
Well, look at somebody sit your ass on the way out.
Nobody ever knew what he
I
did.
hope we ain't got too many more smart asses here. Hey, blockhead. Yeah, you.
Me?
Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Jason Vasquez.
Well, what do you do?
I'm a mailroom clerk here.
Would you like a promotion?
Hell yeah.
Well, then come over here, sit your ass down, you got your promotion.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Right, your job is this. If I snap my fingers, damn it, I want a beer and I want it now and I want it open.
You got it.
You can't promote him.
Does anybody have a problem with Jason's promotion?
Yeah, I do.
I said, has anybody got a problem with this promotion?
No, sir.
All right, let's continue the meeting. I'm getting really getting to know you guys. You do what?
My name's Kevin Albanese. I'm the director of MIS.
You got some pudding hanging off your nose there. What does MIS mean? Mingling shit?
No, Stone Cold. I'm in charge of your computer department here at the World Wrestling Federation.
Tell me more.
He's a nerd.
I take care of any...
No, I don't want to hear more, because what I want to do right now is have a good old-fashioned beer drinking contest, because I want to find out exactly where you guys stand. The rules are simple. I'm going to pass out this beer. Jason, pick up all that damn beer that you spilled earlier. Do you do that at your house?
No, sir.
Then you won't do that here if you want your job. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, pass these some bitches some beer.
You
I want
promoted the
everybody to drink up. The rules are this. When I come back in this room, if you're still standing, you still got a job.
What is he
If
doing?
you're not standing, if you land on the ground, puking and and vomiting all over the place, that means your ass is fired.
There has never been alcoholic beverage in that
start
boardroom.
drinking the damn beer. No slackers here. Here, you
They
get
drink
two
every
of them.
day at
No, you get
lunch.
3. There you go. Hot shot lawyer. Okay.
2-hour lunches.
There's another one for you.
Drinking those
Well,
damn
I got beer.
martinis and stuff.
Snap my damn fingers. I better have one. Gentlemen, start drinking right now, and that's the bottom line, because the new CEO says so.
Oh, my God, no!
Maybe they'll get this right.
No!
All right. So, like I said before we played the promo, is Austin's going to go around and ask everybody what their job is. And then right to Austin's right is the first senior VP. And Austin asks him, what do you do? And he says whatever his job is, VP of whatever department, I forget what it was. But Austin says, oh, is that supposed to impress me? You're fired. You're fired for looking stupid. Now get out of here. The reason why I started laughing right at the end of it, because I was just reading through the note before we went back to it. And it was something that you said on either the watch along or the one before, where you were like talking about how like somebody goes to a certain college or whatever. And you were like,
No, you said someone. I remember saying this. That's funny because you said someone goes to Yale.
Yeah. Yo,
I was like,
the guy from Heat.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a professor at Yale. And you're like, is that supposed to impress me? That's like exactly what Austin said to this guy. Is that supposed to impress me?
Yeah.
You're fired. You're fired for looking stupid.
It's probably where I got it from. It's been buried in the back of my brain for fucking 20
years.
20 years. Yeah.
So then Austin sees the mailroom clerk in there, and he's like, hey, you want to be promoted? Then he just gives the guy a promotion. Then he tells the guy to get him a beer. And Austin makes the board all have a drinking contest.
Which is so cool. This is just so cool. He's handing out the beers with his cooler.
You gotta imagine these are like people that really work in the office. Because they're not just gonna bring a bunch of actors for this. So it's a bunch of stiffs basically, and they're getting their moment of glory on TV.
They're loving it.
So he says, if you're standing when I come back, you still got a job. If you're passed out, you can.
And one point to that about the guys in these rooms. So you got to think about it. They probably tell people like, "Oh yeah, I work at WWE," and they're probably like, "Oh yeah, you work at WWE," and deep down inside, like, "Yeah, I'm not a wrestler, though."
Right.
You know, it's like, "Yeah, I work for the NBA, but you're not a player."
So, yeah, I work in the office.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to do with anybody.
I have nothing to do with the show.
Right,
even.
it's all just business.
I don't know. I don't think I could work there and do like what I do.
Yeah, because you'd want to.
Like, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, what do you mean I'm not involved in the show?
Oh, when's AJ Styles coming in? Like something. You know, like,
yeah. I'd get fired for like
being a fanboy or something.
Yeah, you know. All right, that's all I need to say.
So he says, you know, if you're going to be fired if you're passed out, puking, pissing yourself. So he says, start drinking up, and that's the bottom line because the CEO said so. So from there, he's now going to head to Human Resources. Check out what's going on over there. So he goes to the actual Human Resource offices, the head of the Human Resources, Matt DeLuca. And Matt DeLuca has a tie on, and it's an Austin tie. So Austin says, oh, now that's a power tie. So this guy steals the show, I think. Matt DeLuca. All right, so let's take a listen to what goes on in Human Resources.
Resources, just where I needed to go.
Stone Cold looking for the director of Human Resources.
There you guys are. I'm looking for you. Hey, I'm digging the power tie there. Let me get a good look at that. Beautiful. You got the cutout going. You might have some potential.
That's Matt DeLuca.
Well, I'm going to introduce myself. Stone Cold Steve Austin, CEO. You are what, and what do you do?
My name is Sarah. I'm the Human Resources Specialist.
Sarah, Human Resources Specialist. Let me see what we can do here. Sarah, why don't you use your resources and go get old Stone Cold a couple of cold beers?
Excuse me?
I'm moving or losing, honey. I'm thirsty here. I got meetings to do.
Wait a minute.
I appreciate the respect.
Yeah, Sarah.
Please don't hit me. Hey, I'm not here to hit you, son. Relax. Relax, all right? You know what we have here. Let me tell you what we have here. This is an orientation manual. Do you understand that? What I want you to do with this is to memorize it front to back, back to front. I want you to know the direction that this company is going in. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Because you know what might happen? Do you know what might happen? I might come back and quiz you today, tomorrow, whenever, about the contents of this manual. Something easy, like, let me see, start you off with something basic, like, here we go, we'll do this one. Austin 316 says...
I know that one.
Well, give it to me, kid.
I just whooped your...
It's okay, go ahead and say it. I'm telling you, CEO, I'm giving you permission. Profanity is allowed here. Austin 316 says...
I just whooped your...
Don't say it.
Ass.
Oh, my... There's a brown noser for you, JR.
You got to work on your attitude, son. You know, come from here. Austin 316 says...
I just whipped your ass.
See, I knew you had some potential, kid. Now, do you know where I'm counting you?
Right down the hall.
I'm going to lead the way.
Look at this. What a brown noser. Look at the beak on this guy. Look at the swagger now.
Matt DeLuca's got an attitude.
All right, so as I said, Austin walks into the office. Matt DeLuca has the Austin tie on, so he's like, all right, you got the power tie on. And Matt DeLuca's sitting with the Human Resource Specialist. I don't know what that means. I guess that's the aide, maybe. Her name's Sarah, and she's pretty hot. Had to take note of that.
Yeah, the specialist usually does like the person-facing role.
Oh, okay. The one that actually meets everybody.
Yeah, they're like the first step.
Yep. So Austin,
like, so oh, they helped you with your basic questions and shit. Like, oh, you have an issue with your paycheck, you know.
So Austin basically tells her to go get a couple cold beers, sends her on her way, and then Austin warns DeLuca to study the manual because he's gonna quiz him. And there's a warm-up question. So Austin starts it off. Austin 316 says, and DeLuca is like hesitant, which is funny. I know this one. I know this one. He's like the biggest nerd ass there is.
Yeah, he's enjoying it, and almost like Austin's enjoying this guy.
Oh
too.
yeah, he's definitely getting a kick out of this guy, because he probably knows him and knows he's such like a goof.
Oh yeah, that too. They might even have like an established. I wonder.
Yeah. So he yells it. He says, Austin 316 says, "I just whooped your ass," and he gets all confident after he says it nice and loud. So then he walks Austin out of the office and he starts strutting. He's strutting with like some swagger. And then Jerry Lawler, because Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, they can comment on anything that's happening, as you heard. And Lawler, he puts in the joke last second and makes fun of the guy's big nose. It's like,
all is ruthless.
Yeah, it's always gonna put a little dig in there. So a little while later in the show, we continue on to On the Job with CEO Austin, and Matt DeLuca is leading Austin to the accounting office, and he's strutting his stuff still. Matt DeLuca, he's got his tie loosened now. He's got his suit jacket just hanging over his shoulder, walking like he's the man. He has a beer in his hand. And Austin and Matt walk into the accounting office, so take a listen to this minute clip. I'll be right back.
It's right this way, Steve.
That's it?
Right in here.
I'll take it from here, Tiger.
Crazy son of a bitch.
All right, Chief, how you doing?
Good.
This is accounting, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So the numbers go on the pieces of paper, everything like that, right?
This is the place.
I want to see some books.
Books? Which set of books did you want to see?
How many books you got? Just give me some damn books so I can look at some numbers here.
Which set? How many sets are there?
See what we got. Let's see what we got. Beautiful. I'm not an accountant, but I'm smart enough to see what's going on here.
Okay.
What's the deal? A lot of big numbers here. How come they're written in red?
Well, those are losses.
Losses?
Yeah.
Well, why we got losses? We need to be making money here, and I know we're making money. Why are these losses?
Well,
some people
unfortunately,
tear
we've
up
heard a few
Titantron.
losses from some incidents you were involved in over the past
Like
year.
what?
Well, there was the Zamboni incident, and the limousine incident, and the beer truck, and the
Nah,
hearse,
yeah,
and the monster truck.
Enough already. Let's go into some different figures here.
Okay.
That's a hell of a figure there. What's the story on that?
Well, that's Vince McMahon's salary.
Somebody's just making that much money?
Well, he does all right.
I guess he does. I'll tell you what I want done. Take a couple of these zeros and put them behind Mick Foley's salary, because the son needs a little help with his medical bills.
What?
You understand me?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's move right along here.
You can't do that, can he, JR?
Yeah, here
right.
we go. That's a good number. What's the deal on that?
Oh, that's Shane McMahon's salary.
Shane McMahon is making that kind of money?
Yes.
I'll tell you what we want to do. We want to change Shane McMahon's salary, just scratch that off. We want that. That is now the beer budget.
The beer budget?
We don't have a beer budget.
You said what?
The whole beer budget. We don't have a beer budget? Oh, here we go. Oh, no. Well, we have budgeted a handicap match for the WWF tag titles here. Thanks to
Okay, so in the office, Austin, as the CEO, he wants to take a look at the numbers. And the accountant says, they were in the red. And Austin wants to know what that means. And he says, there's a loss. Like, what do you mean there's a loss? So the accountant brings up, we lost a lot of money with the Zamboni incident, with the Corvette, with the beer truck. So Austin starts to look at the payroll and is like, that's McMahon's salary? All right, well, get rid of a couple zeros there. Give it to McFoley. He needs it.
I thought that was cool.
That was cool. And he's made it a point to bring up McFoley a couple times since he's been out.
Yeah,
out with his injury. And then he says, "We're gonna change Shane's salary to the beer budget." So some good shit there. And, actually, one other incident that Jerry Lawler butt in. He said, "Oh, how about the Titantron destruction?" Yeah, that's a good one. That probably was supposed to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Kayfabe. All right, so we continue on, and this brings us to the final of these skits from Austin on the job, and this is The Office, going back to The Office. And we're going to get some manure. As Biff from Back to the Future would say, I hate manure.
That's what this reminded me of.
All right, let's take a listen to that, and then we'll just talk about it and wrap that part of the segment up.
Folks, no doubt it has been a very eventful day at the WWF World Headquarters. Stone Cold's first official day on the job as CEO. He's done a lot of things. Now, I understand that earlier today, our cameras, there you see it. This is a shot of Mr. McMahon's office. And King, will you look at all the plaques?
It's the most beautiful office I've ever seen.
It is. McMahon's got a shrine to himself, for God's sakes.
He earned all those awards.
Oh, look at it. Self-serving. He's got his picture everywhere. Vince McMahon, honorable Vince McMahon.
He's a humanitarian.
That's an oxymoron in itself. And look at this. He was responsible for
double platinum. He's a philanthropist. I mean, this guy, look at that.
And that's before the facelift. And I don't understand this. He's got all, this is all before, the way it looked before Stone Cold arrived.
You see, Vince, after spending the entire day going over the day-to-day operations, the new CEO of the World Wrestling Federation has determined that what you need here is just a little more bullshit. Because I've been walking around in it all day, I might as well be swimming in it. I got a little something for you.
What's he doing, JR? How many
Bring
beers does he drink?
All in moderation.
Oh, look at
you
this.
Urban boys, bring that shit in. Bring it on in, boys. There's some bitch. Whole room is full of bull.
That's JR.
Get out of the way, son. Come on, bring your bull in. Come on. I want to
farm
find
in Oklahoma.
See, this is exactly what I think about you and your little cutler. Stone Cold Steve Austin don't spare no expense. We'll let in. Damn, come on, boys. I said bring in some more bull. We got a good pile here, but this ain't good enough for Vince McMahon. Bring it on in.
The fly.
Yeah, double on the rest of this pile.
Dung beetles.
The bottom line is, Vince, this place smells like
Vince, get out here. Oh, look, now Stone Cold. He's pouring beer on it.
I bet it's high-quality cow manure. Well, the McMahons are headed our way after Vince has just seen his office filled with cow manure, thanks to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
We're going to see some
CEO.
retaliation now. This is going to be good.
How are the McMahons going to react?
How are they going to retaliate?
And who are they going to take it out on?
All right, so as this skit opens, and you can't see it, so I'm going to give you a little visual here, and go back and watch it, because they're all funny skits. I think there's something on WWE Network, you just search CEO Austin, and I think they have like all the clips back to back on one little like 10-minute segment. But if you go to this the last part, go to The Office, and once they open up the shot, it shows all Vince McMahon's awards in his office. And they're actually in his real office, one of his real offices. So there's the one where there's the manure, and then there's another separate office, I believe. But they're in this one office, and they're showing all Vince's awards. And then you can see a WWF magazine cover, an 80s one. It has Vince McMahon on the cover. And I had most of those 87, 88, 89 WWF magazines, so that struck my eye right away. I was like, I never seen that one. What the hell is that?
Do you still have them?
No, of course not.
No.
Yeah, once I get to that phase where I was like, I'm all set with wrestling, I just gave everything to my brother, and then he just got rid of everything.
That sucks.
All my tapes, magazines. I was like, yeah, cool. He can have these. And then
you're like, they'll be there when I need them.
It's trash. Now I regret it.
You didn't even sell them.
No.
Damn, those are probably gets a few bucks for each one.
Yeah, I would just like to have them again.
I don't know. Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah. But anyways, there's this Vince McMahon magazine cover, and I knew it had to be not a real one because I'd never seen it before. So I pause and I look at it, and on the magazine it has a date. It says August 24th, 1988, and I know that's not how they labeled the magazines. It would either be August 1988, or even I believe at that time, maybe it was a little earlier. They used to do bi-monthly, so it would say like August, September 88. So I was like, August 24th, that's kind of weird. I was like, that looks like it might be a birthday gift. So I looked up his birthday, and yeah, his birthday is August 24th. So somebody gave him that as a birthday present.
Oh,
yep,
shit.
so he has it on his office wall there.
Good
at
research,
that point.
dude.
It was his 43rd birthday. So, in 1988, he was 43. So I want to find out who gave that to him. Now, who was the kiss ass that gave him the WWF magazine?
Yeah, right.
Probably somebody that worked at WWF for the WWF magazine. Just got it printed.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was a giveaway right away was that all the little things on the side where it says what's going to be in the magazine were all Vince related. I was like, oh, yeah, that's fake. But that's a cool gift. It's kind of like when you're a kid and you're in Little League Baseball and you get the magazine cover or you get the baseball card with your picture holding the bat.
Yeah, you get a little happy for that.
I'm sure he was happy.
I used to get pumped.
Like, yeah, I got my own WWF magazine cover.
He definitely was happy. It's Vince
Right.
McMahon.
That's why.
The best.
Right. That's
ego.
why he's in the role he is at this point in 1999. It's like, shit, I want to be involved in this. And good thing he did, because it helped a whole lot. Made it memorable. So anyway, Austin's sitting in his office, and the office is so shitty looking. Like the decorations, just the color scheme, and go back and watch. It's just like,
Oh yeah. What are you talking about? His office? Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible design. My office would look way nicer.
It's still the same office that he uses to this day too.
But is it the same location?
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same location. Yep.
But it's got to be like modern.
Yeah, I believe it is. The last time I saw it, actually, it was on the on the Edge and Christian show that they have on the network. They were in that same office.
Oh yeah.
And now he has a big T-Rex on the wall. T-Rex skull. Like a
yep.
Probably a replica, obviously. But I wouldn't be surprised if he actually got a fucking T-Rex skull. But yeah, so that's there.
Hey, he has the money for it. I don't know what those go for, but I'm sure they're not like a couple $1,000.
That's probably some intimidation tactic to have that in your office.
Yeah, it is. Negotiation tactic.
This guy has a fucking T-Rex head in his office.
Yeah. And you got a real dummy that comes in. Wow, he killed the T-Rex.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some 21-year-olds that are just getting into wrestling that might think that.
Yeah.
And no shit.
Who's the pothead on the roster?
All right, so from there, Austin brings all the wheelbarrow guys back in. So this is pretty good writing because you get the wheelbarrow guys in the first skit. You don't see them again, and then at the very last skit, Austin's telling them, there's enough bullshit in this room. Let's add some more to it. So they come in with piles and piles of cow shit, and they just dump it into his office. Maybe after this, he redesigned his office and said, all right, I'm going to redo my office anyway, so just put a bunch of shit in it, and I'll get people to clean it up later. So Austin stands on top of the desk. He starts pouring beer into the shit. And Vince and Shane are looking on backstage because they can see it on the monitor. And they're pissed off, and they're going to head to the ring because they're sick of Austin shit. But who would not tell Vince from the hours between, though? This happened earlier in the day. You would think there'd be somebody that was like, you know what Austin did today in the office?
Yeah,
dumb shit all in your office.
Like he's got a cell phone at this point, right?
That's it's a thing. Yep.
Or if not, he's got a direct line somewhere in the fucking stadium where someone can reach him. Because he's Vince McMahon.
Yeah, exactly. So Austin is kind of pissed off McMahon here. So McMahon and Shane McMahon, Vince and Shane, are going to come out. And they're going to talk about how they're not very happy about this at all. So take a listen to them for a couple of minutes. Then we'll wrap up this episode of Raw and move on to the next one.
In here. It's about time. It's upset. I guess.
Austin, Stone Cold, you have disgraced the World Wrestling Federation with your mere presence in that beautiful edifice of the World Wrestling Federation World Headquarters. Austin, I won't forget and I won't forgive what you've done on this day. But hear this, Austin. We can't wait for the opportunity when you no longer will be the CEO. So this is our challenge, Austin.
Uh-oh.
We take this CEO title of yours. We take Shane's stock in the company. We take Vince's stock in the company. And you take all of that and you hang it. You hang it above a ring at the king of the ring. And the only way to reach up and grab it all, Austin, is by climbing a ladder.
Oh, no.
That's right. Austin versus Shane and Vince in a ladder match, Austin.
Yes!
That's the stipulation.
Wow!
With only one other stipulation, by the way, to come tonight.
What's that mean?
And that relates to you, Rock.
Oh, okay.
If you can be victorious in your match this evening with The Undertaker, then Rock, you will have your title shot at the King of the Ring.
It's a promise.
However, remember that very special stipulation, Rock.
What is it?
And that stipulation for tonight.
All right, so there you heard McMahon. Austin, you disgraced the WWF and its headquarters. I won't forget what you've done on this day. And not many people have forgot because it is one of the more memorable skits of Austin during this time in 1999. Now, this is our challenge. We take the CEO title. So McMahon's come up with a stipulation. So we didn't cover the matches yet because we'll get to that kind of stuff later. But McMahon had this whole night of stipulation matches, and now he's going to say what the stipulation match is, and it's not going to be any of the ones that they test out. So he decides it's going to be a ladder match. You're going to hang up the CEO title in this briefcase and hang it above the ladder. You're going to climb up the ladder. And he says, that's the stipulation. But there'll be only one more stipulation. So even that's not enough. They cut that stipulation. It's going to be a ladder match, but McMahon even has to tease it even further.
So it's like, wait, there's more.
Yeah, there's another one, and we're not going to find out about it yet. And right after you heard the audio, right after that, Ken Shamrock is pissed with McMahon still. He comes out, attacks Vince, and Vince puts Shane in the way, and then Shane takes the suplex instead of McMahon. So that kind of wraps up the show there on that Raw 316 from June 14th. Going into the weekend on Heat 47 from June 20th, 1999 in Nashville. It's live. It's a live Heat, but Austin is not appearing for that. He's like, I'm all set with Heats at this point. I'm only going to Heat if it's at the pay-per-view, basically. And I don't even think he shows up for that, if I recall. So we'll skip that Heat, and we'll cover anything necessary in the Attitude Era update later. And now we go to Raw 317 from June 21st, 1999. This is live again the next day in Memphis, Tennessee. And we're going to start off with a promo with Triple H, The Undertaker, and Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon cuts a promo basically saying that everything's going okay with the corporate ministry, just like he said last time. So again, that only alludes to the fact that things are going to start to fall apart between them. And he says there's no heat between Undertaker and Triple H. And there is. Undertaker and Triple H are starting to go at it with each other, trying to be the big dog of the group. And then McMahon turns his attention after that part of the promo to CEO, Stone Cold Steve Austin. So take a listen to what McMahon has to say about Stone Cold.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Hell no.
Austin, when you were back at corporate headquarters last week wreaking havoc, and by the way, I haven't gotten the stench out of my office yet.
Calendar lasts for a while there, Vince.
While you were back at corporate headquarters, Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon challenged you, Austin. We challenged you to a ladder match in which you would take your title as CEO. We would take our ownership, our certificates of ownership, our stock. We would put it high above the ring. Hell, we'll even put it in that stinky briefcase of yours. Hang it above the ring. And the first man to reach up in the winner-take-all ladder match. Austin will be the total victor, will have won it all. But you know,
please. He's still in happy hour back at headquarters.
I don't think so.
Austin, you see what's going to happen is Shane and Vince McMahon understand the corporate ladder. We understand the ladder of success. And after it's all said and done, Austin, you'll be right where you started, at the very bottom of the ladder, the very bottom rung of that ladder. And the hell, Austin, that you have experienced from the McMahons in the past will be nothing like you will experience after the King of the Ring.
Bottom of the ladder for Austin. It's a high-level conference going on now.
Oh, yeah. A caucus.
Austin, you will bow in defeat at the hands of the McMahons in the ladder match.
It's as simple as that.
All right, so McMahon basically says he couldn't get the smell out of his office yet. My first thought was, I thought it wasn't your office anymore. I thought it was Stone Cold's office. And he just wanted to put a bunch of shit in it. So he's still calling it his office, so yeah, nothing really changed there. He's not even acknowledging that it's Austin's office. Yeah, so, and it's not like he's just saying, oh, it's my office because it used to be my office. He's saying he went in there and he smelled it. And they haven't gotten it out yet. So,
yeah, implying that it's his ownership.
That he still goes in there. He smells the shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's
right.
using it.
McMahon says Vince and Shane challenged Austin in a ladder match. Austin challenged them, and McMahon came up with these stipulations. So that's basically kind of rundown of what we just went over. The crowd chants for Austin. We understand the corporate ladder, so they're getting their corporate ladder puns in. The ladder to success. But this Sunday, you'll be at the bottom rung of the ladder, and the hell you've experienced by McMahon will be nothing compared to what you experienced at the King of the Ring. Austin, you will bow in defeat at the hands of the McMahons in the ladder match. And at this point, I knew they were just killing time because they started to just say random shit. And then you get Austin's music hitting, and then Austin comes out, and he's going to continue this promo. So let's pick it up from where Austin gets on the mic.
Amazing athlete! He's freaking on the job!
As the new CEO of the World Wrestling Federation, and your boss, I will come out here and go on the record as saying I accept the winner-takes-all handicap ladder match at the King of the Ring. Good. I would also like to go on record as saying, as that you and the boy wonder there, Shane, are the two sorriest bastard employees I ever had. Vince, I will say this, down the road, I will once again be the World Wrestling Federation champion. But for the immediate future, Stone Cold Steve Austin is having a blast running your stupid little company, and the way I see it, I might just see fit to make it a full-time position.
What? Can you pink slip the CEO?
You can rest assured, and you look at me when I say this, Vince, with your little beady eyes. When I get your ass, and look at me, boy wonder, you little bastard.
Not that beady.
When I get you in that ring, that King of the Ring, you can go up the ladder, you can go down the ladder,
You can run around the damn ladder, but you can rest assured both your asses belong to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's all I got to say about that.
There'll be a corporate ass whipping this Sunday.
I was in my office the other day making decisions, and I came up with another little stipulation for you to make sure everything's straight. If, at the King of the Ring, one of your little pathetic members of the corporate ministry interferes in our match, you will be disqualified.
What?
Stone Cold Steve Austin will get the victory.
Wait a minute. He can't do stipulations, JR.
And more important than that, 100% control of the World Wrestling Federation, and that's all I got to say about that.
Wow. No outside interference.
No. You got it all wrong. Listen, you're not in control yet, and Shane and I still own 50%. So this is the stipulation that we're going to have in this ladder match. No holds barred. Anything goes, Austin. I don't care if the 82nd Airborne comes in and joins us in this match. I don't give a damn. That's the way it's going to be. And why? Because Vince and Shane McMahon said so.
Yeah! That makes outside interference legal.
All right, Austin heads out there with a mic and a ladder. He also has a briefcase. Austin climbs the ladder with the mic. He has a beer at this point. He climbs to the top. He takes a gulp. And he says, as the new CEO of the WWF and your boss, I will accept the handicap ladder match at King of the Ring. He wants to go on record and says that the Boy Wonder, Shane, and Vince McMahon are the sorriest employees he's ever had. Which I just got to chuckle out of because, you know, you weren't anybody's boss for very long at all. He says, Vince, down the road, I will say this. I will be the WWF champion. And Stone Cold's having a blast running your stupid little company. I might just fit this into a full-time position. And then they're not looking at him, apparently. And Austin gets to drop his little line that he loves. Look at me with your beady little eyes. And look at me, Boy Wonder, you little bastard.
He says Boy Wonder. It's hilarious.
Well, JR's been calling him Boy Wonder, too. So I think Austin probably picked up on that.
Yeah. But, yeah, I like when Austin says it. It's just
yeah, it is. But JR, it's like, who the hell are you? You calling somebody something, you know?
Yeah.
JR. When I get you at King of the Ring, you go up the ladder, down the ladder, around the damn ladder. But rest assured, both your asses belong to Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's all I got to say about that. So we said it last week, and you gave a shout-out to Frank Galls, but do it here again since it came up. Thanks to Frank Galls for making that Austin Gump meme. And check out Frank at Shattered Tank on Twitter.
Oh, he does have a Twitter.
Yeah, because I asked him, I was like, dude, what you don't have Twitter? And then he told me. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm already friends with you on there.
I might
I forgot all about it.
I just didn't know.
Because I'm trying to search his name and nothing comes up. So,
yeah,
he's on there. Shattered Tank. So he says, Austin continues on from there. He says, I was in my office the other day drinking. And then he corrects himself. I was in my office the other day making decisions. I like that. I think it should have went the other way, though. I was in my office making some decisions. And then everybody would be like, yeah, right, bro. Be like, I was in my office the other day drinking. I think that would have been good. It worked either way. But Austin presents a stipulation. He's going to add to the match. It's, like, ridiculous. I have to, like, write down these stipulations just so I know, like, what the hell is it going to be? Obviously, I've taken notes for this. But if I was watching, I feel like I would need to write the stipulations down just to know what the hell this match is going to be that's coming up. So you got a handicap match. You got this ladder match. Now, Austin presents a stipulation. If any member of the corporate ministry interferes, McMahon will be DQ'd. It's just one after the other. And this is the same.
It's tough to keep up. Like, as a fucking fan or even if you're like a casual and this is the episode you tune into, it's like, what the fuck am I
what
watching?
is all this shit?
Like,
why are there so many rules?
Like, hold on, let me get a notebook. So
yeah, exactly. That's what my point was. But that stipulation there, if any member of the corporate ministry interferes, McMahon will be DQ'd, and then Austin will get the company. That's the same setup that led to Paul White debuting as member of the corporation. Because remember, I said if any member of the corporation interferes in the cage match, then Austin wins or whatever, And Paul White debuted because he wasn't a member of the corporation yet, so he technically he wasn't a member. So they're doing the same thing again, but nobody debuts this time, so it's not exactly the same. But that's what made me think of. And then he adds to it, and more important than that, I get 100% of the control of the WWF, and that's all I got to say about that. This is really playing out all I got to say about that in this promo. So McMahon says he and Shane both have 50%, so it's their decision on the stipulations, which is weird because Austin has 50% too. So that doesn't even make any sense to me. So why does...
No, because it's not like it's a 51-49 split.
They both have the same.
It's an even.
They should both be able to keep making stipulations all they want. Which, hell no. Don't keep doing that.
Yeah. Don't encourage them here.
And then, so Vince adds to it. He says, well, it's going to be a no-holds-barred match, too. And my first thought was, I thought ladder matches were always no-holds-barred. I didn't think there were a DQ in a ladder match.
Oh, that's still a problem they have today. Defining, like, no DQ and, like, anything that's not a regular match is almost by default.
Right, because if you can use a ladder...
Triple threats are no DQ, right?
Right. If you can use a ladder in a match, then
default.
Why can't you use a steel chair? I mean, technically, I guess you could say no steel chairs if it's a ladder match, and then you're DQ'd, but they let anything go in all those matches all the time.
Yeah, we've seen, like, dozens of them.
Right. Ladder matches always have tables involved.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, no. Anything after, like, the TLC match, for sure, everything went out the window.
Yeah.
So you just applied. It's implied at that point that it's no holds barred.
Yeah, I guess it's been going on for a little while at this point because we've been watching since '96, basically, all within the last year. And it's just gradually getting to the point where, all right, no fucking rules. There's no rules anymore.
Yeah,
that's kind of when I got really sick of it. I think it was around 2001. I was just like, I remember complaining about, tag team matches, they never tag each other anymore.
Oh, me too. I remember that. 2001 is going to be interesting because I was tuned out at that point.
Yeah, me too.
Not
2001, 2002.
entirely, but I was loosely tuned out. I was like heading into it's like end of junior, heading into senior year.
Yeah, by exactly the same year, basically, was my senior year.
So I was working more. Yeah,
I was kind of out by then, and then going to college, I really didn't pay attention much at all.
Yeah, yep.
Was basically off for the next 3 years. Then I got back in, and it was like, who's this Mocky Mock guy? John Cena was on the scene at that point when I got back into it. But anyway,
I was still loosely watching when he showed up. Not to keep going on that, but because I remember him showing up as the prototype, like watching that.
Yeah, I would always flip over and be like, just check it out, see, just a few minutes or so. So yeah, it'll be interesting when we go further in. It's going to be a lot of stuff we never really watched. And we know a lot about it because we've looked back and kept up, but we didn't actually really go back and watch everything. So it'll be interesting. All right, so from there we go on to another promo. HBK is going to come out, and he's got his San Antonio Spurs shirt. So he's on the bandwagon for his team, being that they're in the NBA Finals at this point. The Stooges are going to come out with HBK too. They're on his side now. HBK says there will be a match now to decide the final stipulation for the ladder match. So this just continues on, stipulation. So we're going to have this match. Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to go up against any member of the corporate ministry. So let's take a listen to what HBK has to say and what Austin has to say here before this match that Austin will have to have.
Yeah! That makes outside interference legal. What the hell? No. Wait a minute. What's that doing here from Mr. Shawn Michaels?
Now, gentlemen, somebody has got to have a level head around here. And ironically, decision that will have a tremendous impact on the World Wrestling Federation. I believe I need a cup of coffee to calm my nerves. Associates, if you will.
Associates? Oh, no! Shawn Michaels' new associates! Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe standing side by side with the commissioner, and that has infuriated the McMahons. Everybody's wearing shorts!
Now, we can't just have you guys throwing out stipulations around here, sort of like the way I used to throw you around, Vince. So I tell you what we're gonna do. Tonight, here on Raw, we're gonna have a match to decide the final stipulation in the ladder match at King of the Ring.
That sounds fair. Everybody's throwing their weight around.
In that match here tonight on Raw, it will be Stone Cold Steve Austin versus whichever member of the corporate ministry you see fit. Now, if Stone Cold Steve Austin wins the match tonight, it will be Stone Cold stipulation that will be enforced at King of the Ring, which is if any members of the corporate ministry interfere in that match, Stone Cold Steve Austin will get 100% ownership of the World Wrestling Federation.
Commissioners, CEOs, I hate them all.
Now, if the member of the corporate ministry wins that match, it will be the McMahon stipulation that will be enforced at King of the Ring, which is anything goes, no disqualification, no holds barred. Now, we know it's going to be Stone Cold in the match, but which member of the corporate ministry is it going to be? McMannequins?
That would be The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah!
Well, I got a little problem with that because, you see, he's already booked tonight. So who's your next choice?
Booked? What do you mean? Undertaker's already booked.
HBK, the decision is easy. It's as easy as a pedigree. Triple H is the choice for the corporate ministry.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, you see, Shane, just like your New York Knicks, you're 0 for 2 because Triple H is booked also. So who's it gonna be?
Oh, what kind of games are you playing here, Michaels?
Well, see, the game I'm playing is this. Tonight here on Raw, The Undertaker will defend his World Wrestling Federation Championship against Triple H.
Wow. Wait a minute. Oh, my.
Now,
he can't do that
I believe, McMahons, you still have a choice to make. So what's it gonna be?
The big boss man will kick Austin's ass.
Oh.
Well, that's as good a choice as any, but I'll tell you what, just to make sure that no other members of the corporate ministry interfere, I think I'll be the special guest referee.
What? Tonight, Shawn Michaels refereeing Austin and the boss man.
Hey, special guest referee or not, boss man, I'm gonna beat your sorry ass, and that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.
All right, so as I said, HBK's out there. He's saying that there'll be a match. If Stone Cold wins the match, the stipulation will be used. Austin's stipulation will win. So that's the if anyone interferes, Austin wins and gets 100% of the company. If the corporate ministry member wins, they haven't decided who it is yet at this point, it will be anything goes, no holds barred, which really doesn't change anything. So Vince chooses The Undertaker. HBK says, oh, he already has a match. Shane says Triple H. HBK says he's already booked for a match. And he says The Undertaker will defend his championship tonight against Triple H. So that's how they're booked with each other. And that's actually a good match, which we'll kind of loosely cover in a little bit. Vince chooses the big boss man to kick Austin's ass. And HBK decides he will be the special guest referee too, to make sure no one interferes. And Austin wraps it up saying that he will kick Boss Man's ass because that's the bottom line. Austin and HBK crack open a couple beers. HBK makes a match between McMahon's and the Stooges. The Stooges dance to HBK's music, and this was a part that I went back and watched like 3 times. It's just hilarious to see the Stooges doing like HBK kind of dancing, Pat Patterson shaking his ass, and doing like the muscle thing, and it's just hilarious. So if you haven't seen it, go back to that episode 317. It happens at like 19 minutes. Watch it. It's worth watching. It's hilarious. The look on Vince McMahon's face is hilarious and priceless when he's looking at him like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, because they're just like taking it to the extreme.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious. Shamrock runs in again to attack Vince McMahon. So Shamrock is all over Vince McMahon lately here. Now we get to the match on this episode of Raw, and it's halfway through the show. It's basically the main event of the first hour going into the second hour. So we got Steve Austin versus the Big Boss Man with special ref HBK, and this is the final stipulation match. All right, so just kind of went over that, so I don't want to rehash all that stipulation shit. I feel like I've just been talking about stipulations for 10, 15 minutes. So let's move on to see what the hell happens here. Vince and Shane bring out a ladder early on. Austin attacks Boss Man on the ramp. Shane and Vince run back, and they leave the ladder there. Austin hits Boss Man with a flying double axe handle from the top rope, which is pretty impressive for Austin. Shane and Vince appear at the commentary booth like seemingly out of nowhere. And then Vince is standing on the ladder like some freaking goof. Like, what the hell are you doing on the ladder? It just looks so awkward. The ladder is right next to the commentary table, and McMahon's standing on it in like the middle. It just screams, yeah, we know what's gonna happen here. Like, if anything,
You showed your hand.
Right. So if anything, they should have had the ladder out there, and then Austin. There should be a spot where like Austin gets out of the ring, chases Vince McMahon, and puts Vince McMahon in a weird situation where he doesn't know where to go, so he runs up the ladder. Maybe that. And then Austin pushes him off. That would have been a little funnier than McMahon standing on the ladder for 3 minutes waiting for Austin to come out there.
Yeah.
At least it would have been like a general comedic scene. I feel like that's a scene that you would see in the Three Stooges. They don't know where to go. They run up the ladder and they get knocked off the ladder.
You could do that whole segment without sound.
Yeah, exactly. Don't need any sound for that scene. All right, so McMahon's on a damn ladder. Austin works on Boss Man's leg on the ring post. Boss Man kicks Austin off, and he ends up in the front row. Shane's on commentary, of course, and he's being annoying as hell, which I guess is his job. But he does a good job at it. I guess that's all I'll say about that. At this point, Austin tips the ladder over, and Vince crashes into the table, and he looks like a dumbass there. And that's at 48 minutes, so go back and watch him fall like a goof. It doesn't bust the table, so it probably hurt him pretty bad. Austin and Bossman get back into the ring. Bossman works on Austin in a submission hold. Austin fights back, but Bossman elbows Austin and works on him a little bit more. Austin hits Bossman with a series of punches, pegs off Bossman. They double clothesline each other, which I said recently. I think I said on the ECW show, but I always love a double clothesline spot. And it puts the referee in a situation where they have to make the double count, and just builds up some drama. I always liked it. So HBK starts the double count, and McMahon says Austin will pay because he busted my ladder. Now my back is busted. And then back in the ring, you got Austin hitting the Luthez press. He hits his elbow. Bossman kicks out on 2. Austin goes for the stunner, gets pushed off into the ropes. He takes a big foot by Bossman. HBK is yelling at Vince at commentary. Vince is yelling at him to do his damn job. Meanwhile, Bossman's getting his nightstick. He swings and misses. Austin's going to nail him with the stunner. And HBK is going to make the 3 count. Austin wins, so the corporate ministry members will not be allowed to interfere at the match at King of the Ring. Otherwise, Austin will take all ownership of WWF. And my just initial thoughts on the way this match, I think, could have been booked. I mean, I guess it's not that bad anyway, but I think it would have been nice to see Austin lose the match in some screw job type way to kind of just add to the deck, stack the decks against them even more so that the McMahons get their stipulation and Austin's kind of just fight back from that. So where they can't have DQ and they have the possibility of fighting off some corporate members at King of the Ring and then prevailing through that could have been big. More excitement, I think.
Yeah, he'd come out looking even stronger.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So in this case, it just he beats the boss man and he gets to pick the stip. Want to stack it against him more. But anyway, so Austin's going to go on now, and he's going to take the mic at 53 minutes. He says, Vince, you and that son of a bitch is next, and that's all I got to say about that. It's like the 4th time I think he said it on the show. So he really is pushing it, and we caught on a little early right away with that line.
He's really done with that topic.
Yeah.
On to the next
one.
one.
Yeah, he's sick of him. That's the bottom line, I think. He's trying to find a new T-shirt. I don't think it ever came either. So backstage, the Big Boss Man's gonna get his ass kicked by the corporate ministry, which is not out of the ordinary because the ministry used to always do that to ministry members when they lose a match. But now the corporate ministry is doing that to the Big Boss Man. And then this brings us to the King of the Ring. This is the pre-show of the King of the Ring, Heat 48. There's no Austin appearances, but there is a brief little promo from Vince and Shane McMahon that we're not going to play for you, but I'll just give you the gist of it. It's a hype match, basically, a hype promo. And they're basically setting up the scene that Boss Man is out of the corporate ministry. And McMahon then directs his attention to Stone Cold. He says, tomorrow night at this time, you will be like everyone else. You'll have to go to work, and tomorrow night at the same time, you'll be saying, Mr. McMahon, can I get you a cup of coffee? In Austin, you'll be licking McMahon's boots tomorrow night. So it's basically saying, all right, you're going to be back in the same position. You're actually going to be further down than you were tomorrow night after you lose tonight at King of the Ring. And that's pretty much the gist of it there. And we now go to King of the Ring. So we'll go to that main event match. But before we get to that, there is a sponsor for King of the Ring, and it was Super Soaker. And I heard this promo, I don't know, a dozen times over the episodes of Heat and Raw leading up to King of the Ring, not even just from this episode that we're covering, but episode 50, I was hearing these same promos. And it was a Super Soaker and the tagline, and JR reads it often. And it just sounds so funny coming from JR. But the tagline is, charge it, pump it, soak it. My first thought was like, what is this? Naughty America? Like Brazzers?
Yeah, really.
Like Naughty America.
The intro video to any high-end paid porn site.
Charge it, pump it, soak it. Supersoaker.com. Oh man, yeah, Super Soaker. Okay, all right, move on from that.
That was awesome.
Hey, but someone else had to think that. I wasn't the only one out there.
Oh, probably a lot of other
like-minded
adults at that time. Yeah, like.
All right, so Michael Cole reports that Shane McMahon may not be able to compete in the ladder match. So we get some drama throughout the night that Shane McMahon, he's injured, so he can't be in the match. He may have injured himself in the match against Ken Shamrock earlier on Heat. Vince says Shane needs medical attention. Shane says he's fine, he'll fight. And Vince is like, no, you don't have to. Because Vince is trying to get out of the match too. So we go to an audio clip, Vince McMahon and HBK, right prior to the match. So let's take a listen to that.
I mean, you're delusional. No, I mean, are you that desperate for a raise? Come on, look. Is he going to contribute to your campaign?
Well, unfortunately.
Please, this is serious now. And so are these fans, all 20,108 of them.
You are a very rude audience.
Very rude. And Vince is from North Carolina. They should be down on their knees, these southern idiots.
I believe in the law of the jungle, survival of the fittest. But unfortunately, due to Commissioner Michaels' ruling earlier on, he placed my son Shane in harm's way. More specifically, he placed Shane in Ken Shamrock's way. And unfortunately, Shane will not be able to compete here tonight.
Oh no, I think Daddy Dearest put Shane in harm's way.
This is a disaster. Therefore, I regret to inform you that the handicap match, winner take all ladder match with Shane and Vince McMahon against Stone Cold Steve Austin will not take place here tonight.
Oh, come on. Travesty. That's not right. This is awful. Do it by yourself, Vince. What? Why not?
Now hold on 1 second there, McMahon.
Wait a minute. Not him again, please.
Wait just 1 second. It seems to me, since I'm the sheriff around these parts, I'll be the one that decides which matches will or will not take place. And you're going to have to wake up a lot earlier in the morning to weasel out of this match, especially when old HBK is on the beat.
This guy's making me start to lose my smile.
You misunderstood. In your own words earlier tonight, Mr. Commissioner, you said suitable replacement. Oh no. I can tell you this, Stone Cold Steve Austin is hiding behind you, and I'm not going to let that happen, okay?
Yeah.
Because in this ring tonight, it will be Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon and a suitable replacement.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is, after this is all over, that Vince McMahon will be the showstopper. Vince McMahon will be the main event. Vince McMahon will be the 100% owner of the World Wrestling Federation. Now hit my music.
Yes!
No chance, so that's what you got.
Boy, he did it! You got to admit, JR, that was a brilliant move. He outsmarted the commish. And you got to wonder just exactly whom Mr. McMahon will annoy.
All right, so this promo was happening about 1 hour into the show, and McMahon comes out, gets the mic. He says, Shane will not be able to compete. I regret to inform you the match will not take place tonight. And HBK comes out, tells him to hold on. Vince says there's no match. Then Vince says it will be Austin versus Vince in a suitable replacement. And then HBK says, so what are you saying? And I could tell somewhere in this promo they screwed up somewhere, because Shawn Michaels ended up being confused by Vince responding the way he did, because Vince had said there will be no match, and then he ends up saying it'll be Austin and Vince versus a suitable replacement. So HBK goes, what are you saying? And then Vince, knowing that the whole promo screwed up, ends it real quick. Just wraps it up real quick right at the end there. So maybe you have to see it. I mean, maybe it came through to you guys by listening to it, but if you see it, you can see the look in Vince's face like, fuck off, we fucked this up. Let's get out of here.
Just end it.
All right, so from there, HBK sends Triple H out of the building for interfering in the Take a Rock match that happened before, and McMahon is pissed because he wanted that to be his partner. He goes, that was my partner! That was my partner! So McMahon says, you think I did? Michael says, you think I didn't know that? Good luck. Then McMahon gets on the phone to get his new partner. He says, I need you. Okay, good. So now he's got his next backup partner. So it was going to be Triple H, but Triple H interfered in an Undertaker match, so he was kicked out of the building by HBK. So now we go to the match. Handicap ladder match for control of the WWF, no corporate interference. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mr. McMahon and Shane McMahon. And this match starts at 2 hours, 7 minutes and goes to the end of the show, 2 hours, 25 minutes. Now, we covered it last week on our watch along. So we definitely want you guys to go to that, watch along with us, and listen to all we have to say about the match there. We will just give you a little breakdown here real quickly. We don't want to go into all the little details like we do on a normal episode where we don't do a watch along. We usually go like move by move, basically. But we're not going to do that here because we do that in the watch along. And we're already getting to a point where the show's going to be long, so we don't want to really keep it going any much longer. So we want to get to the Attitude Era stuff soon. So basically what happens real quickly is Vince McMahon comes out and he gets his partner, and it's going to be the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman. Of all people he chooses, that's the guy. And listen to what we have to say about Steve Blackman in that watch along. Because maybe he could have got a good push here, but oh well, wasn't in store for him. Next, you got GTV revealing that Shane McMahon lied to HBK about his injuries. Mean Street Posse and Shane are watching backstage, and they realize they're on GTV, so they try running out of the building. And then HBK forces them to get back and tells Shane McMahon to get to the ring. And he tells Steve Blackman to get his G.I. Joe ass to step in.
I love that. Get your G.I. Joe ass stepping.
So Austin's going to come out. He makes his appearance. So the match actually starts around 2 hours and 7 minutes. And from there, you just get, as JR would say, it's a real slobberknocker. Because you're going to get Austin beating the shit out of Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon most of the way throughout this entire match. And it really is just nonstop Austin kicking some ass. And we do get to a certain point later in the match where it's a crazy spot. And I think this is, I enjoyed the match. I know it's not the wrestling match, it's kind of like, it's just a storyline type match. It's a match between these guys that have this storyline going on, and there's stakes to it. So, there's real meaning behind it. Is Austin going to continue on as the CEO? If you're watching it at the time, that was probably pretty exciting to see whether or not Austin's going to continue to be the CEO or if he's going to get screwed out of it somehow.
Yeah, like how long is this going to last?
So, we have a great spot in the match is where the main set is set up with all ladders. The ladder match was basically the theme of the entire night. When it's the King of the Ring, it's usually you get like the King set in the background. This time you just get a whole bunch of ladders stacked up around each other as the entrance. And they're fighting in that entrance set, that ladder set, and Austin is just whipping McMahon through the ladders, which are supporting ladders, and it's one by one. So it's like, all right, this whole set's going to come down soon because he keeps knocking out the support. And we get to the last one standing on the right side or the left side of it coming out of the entrance, and Austin has a chain and he pulls the last ladder, and the two McMahons are in the middle of the set in the entrance area, and Austin pulls that chain, pulls out the ladder from under it, and then the whole set crumbles onto Shane and Vince. I thought that was a great spot. That happens at
that's
at 2 hours 14 minutes. So that's definitely a spot worth going back to watch. The match is worth going back to watch. So again, go to our watch along.
Yes, I agree.
And watch it with us.
Watch it with us.
So we kind of get to the end around that point. Get some more action back into the ring. We get some table shots, right? So Austin's going to set up Shane on the Spanish announce table. Austin sets up a ladder there. He gives the oh hell yeah, gives an elbow drop off the ladder onto Shane there. And then McMahon is climbing up the ladder. Austin climbs up the ladder. McMahon's going to tip Austin off into JR and Lawler's announce table. It doesn't break either, so that was a hell of a bump. Vince gets back on the ladder and into the ring and sets up at the center of the ring, and you can tell the ladder is just too far away. But Vince is over there. He's trying to grab it. Austin pulls him down to the mat. Shane gets into the ring, and Austin pins him in the corner with the ladder. Austin whips Vince into the corner with the ladder. Austin leans the ladder on the top ropes. Austin catapults Shane into the ladder, drops the ladder on Shane, and then Austin stands on him. He's freaking standing on Shane on the ladder, which was pretty cool. And Shane's like trying to tap out, and they're like, "No, there's no tapping out here." And you get the funny spot where the ladder is not set up. Austin's down and Austin's next to the ladder, so I guess they like didn't want to grab the ladder next to Austin. I don't know if they thought it was like Friday the 13th, like Jason was gonna grab their leg, like Austin's gonna grab their leg if he comes close to him. They're like, no, fuck the ladder. Let's just try to do it without. So they try getting on each other's shoulders. They try to do 10 fingers, so to try to reach the briefcase.
more
yeah,
Three Stooges
it's pretty comical.
No,
yeah,
definitely.
So Austin hits the stunner on them just moments later, and then he goes up the ladder, and then the briefcase is being raised. It's being raised, and then it gets lowered, and Austin's pissed. And while Austin is pissed, he's trying to find out who's doing this. They get back. Austin gets back in the ring while Shane's Vince McMahon's climbing up the ladder, and Shane's going to come in, and he's going to sacrifice Dad and just push them both off the ladder. And Shane's going to set up the ladder, and the briefcase keeps getting lower and lower for Shane. And then Shane unlatches at 2 hours and 25 minutes and wins the match. The McMahons have won the ladder match. And Austin gets screwed again. Somebody was working for the McMahons, lowering the briefcase. And I don't remember what happens with it. I don't know if that ever gets revealed. I'm pretty sure it doesn't get revealed. Maybe they work it into the story somehow. But I don't remember at this point who it was. But if I had to speculate, and we do speculate a little bit on the watch-along, but my first thought initially was it has to be the Mean Street Posse because they were just with Shane, and Shane got kicked out. They caught him and they sent them out back to the ring. HBK sent them back to the match. So maybe the Mean Street Posse found out a way to help Shane win the match. That would be my own guess. I mean, I'm sure they can go a million directions with it, but
no, I think
that one makes the most sense. It's probably not the most appealing one, but it's the most logical. And sometimes logical is what needs to be done. It doesn't need to be some random surprise, because a lot of time the big random surprise doesn't make any sense, and people shit on that too.
Yeah, people shit on everything.
All right, so at this point now, Austin is no longer the CEO. McMahons have control again. And Austin is going to have to start back at the bottom rung of the ladder, it looks like. So we'll see what Austin has in store. And it's I've already been working on the next episode, because I had 2 weeks to do it. So Austin does have some good stuff in store. He has a backup plan that he's going to reveal on the next night, on June 28th, 1999. JV, anything left you want to add to this portion, our Austin segment this week?
No, I do want to press the fact though. Watch this match. Watch this King of the Ring match. Just reinforce that, and make sure you watch it with us in the watch along.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we ended up doing it. That we got into the situation where we basically said, "All right, we'll have to do this because that's just what's going to work this week." And I had put it on a poll, and it got last place in the poll. So I'm kind of happy that we ended up doing it anyway, because if not, we weren't going to do it. We're going to do the fully loaded match that's coming up in a few weeks. So we're going to have another watch along coming up because that won the poll. So we're not just going to ignore it. We'll do it.
Yeah. We're still listening to the people.
That's right. So even though you might be wrong with that match, I think you guys are playing a trick on us. You're voting for the shitty match and not the good match. But we'll see. We'll do a fully loaded anyway. Undertaker versus Stone Cold. All right. So let's get on to our next segment. We got a whole lot of shit here. I mean, I'm kind of going to spitball through this because I don't want it to take too long. But there is some good shit happening on the other. I guess it'd be like a sub story, sub main event, maybe.
Subplot.
Yeah, maybe not even sub. Maybe that's not even the right word. But now you got like main event A and main event A.
Yeah.
1B, whatever.
1A and 1B.
Yeah, 1A and 1B. So you get the Rock storyline with the Undertaker. The Undertaker's the champion, so that's top of the card. So we'll cover that. We'll cover the King of the Ring, and try to get through some of the shitty shit. The shitty shit. All right, so this is the Attitude Era update, and we're now going to take a look at the Corporate Ministry and The Rock. So on Raw 316 from June 14th, The Rock and Undertaker have a damn good promo in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Yes.
The Worcester crowd is amazing.
Yeah, they're hot.
This entire Raw, they're awesome. So again, yeah, that's awesome. That's the Raw CEO, Raw 316. Such a great episode.
It's a great episode.
Yeah. So go back, check that out. The Rock.
And for them to stay hot, just to comment on the crowd again here, for them to stay hot, considering how many like cutaways there are, like not action in the ring. Like a lot of times they're probably watching the Titantron for the story that's playing out back at WWF headquarters. Right. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because usually that would kill the crowd.
I've been there, and it's usually it's usually a crowd killer when you have multiple of those. They get up, leave them more frequently, get concessions and shit.
I recently went to a SmackDown within the last year that was the case. Everything was a promo. The most exciting part of it was like, oh, so and so's gonna be here, but the match is next week. It's like, oh, thanks. We don't even get the damn match. So you give us all these damn promos, and then the match isn't even this week either.
Yeah.
Fucking assholes.
But then you don't go back, and they wonder why attendance looks like shit. Anyway.
So you have The Rock and Undertaker with this great promo. Undertaker, not that great on his part, but The Rock kicks ass. Undertaker says things such as, your mouth is writing checks your ass can't cash. I've crippled more people than polio, son.
It's a great line.
Undertaker rips off Ric Flair again. He says, you can't be the first, but you could be next. And it's much better when Ric Flair does it because Ric Flair's talking about banging chicks. You can't be first, but you can be next. Undertaker's talking about crippling people. But I guess that makes sense because he's the dead man. He's not the nature boy. So Undertaker's going to accept his challenge. And Vince runs out and he wants to put a stop to this. And they're gonna have the match. So Vince says, The Rock needs to beat the Undertaker though before he can have this match. So they're gonna have Rock versus Undertaker non-title match to earn the title shot. Rock says he'll take it. From there, we go to that match, and there's a stipulation that Shane is gonna add. He says you're gonna have to wait until the very end, right before the match. So the match is about to start. Triple H's awesome theme music hits. I love that music. It's a great theme. And then they change it a little bit, though, because they start to add lyrics to it. It's not as good with lyrics. But that's my little note on his theme music. But so there's this triple threat match now, Undertaker versus Rock versus Triple H. It's definitely worth going back check out on episode 316. Damn good match. The only thing I don't like about it is Earl Hebner's the referee, and that's my first Earl Hebner comment of the day. What does happen here that's annoying is Chyna's always involved in everything. She's always interfering. That's kind of annoying, especially when you have these guys in the ring that you need to let Triple H shine on his own. You can't have Chyna saving his ass all the time in these matches. So anyways, The Rock is going to win. He's going to earn the title shot, King of the Ring. And he doesn't even pin The Undertaker. But I guess that makes sense if you want to keep The Undertaker strong as the champion, is not have The Rock beat The Undertaker. So that's probably why they decided last minute, I'll throw Triple H in that match and Triple H can take the pin. And The Rock can get the win there and get his title shot. And then after that match, Triple H and The Undertaker go at it. So the corporate ministry seems to be disintegrating. That's what they say here. And that's why Vince McMahon has constantly been like, there's nothing wrong with the corporate ministry. Nothing wrong with Triple H and Undertaker, even though there is. Then we go to Heat. We can have continue the promos with Triple H and Undertaker. So they got their feud building up, even though Triple H is not going up against Undertaker at King of the Ring. Triple H doesn't even have a match at King of the Ring. To that point, he's just going to get involved in it. And from there, basically just bring us to champion. Oh, we get a championship match. Triple H is going to earn a championship match on Raw 317 the following week. and he's going to go up against The Undertaker. And this was pretty cool at the end. The match ends in a DQ. The Rock runs in, hits the rock bottom on The Undertaker. So that's good because it's building up to the main event, and that's the go-home show.
Yeah, reinforces their feud.
And at the very end, the Brahma bull symbol comes down from the rafters, and it's like blowing smoke out of its nose. So that was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, they're putting the money behind The Rock now in production and shit.
Earlier in the night, that same night, which is another good Raw. Both those Raws are pretty good. The Raw 316, Raw 317.
Yeah, 316 is just a hard one to follow for 317. But
there's still some good stuff here.
Great.
And it's a good go-home show for King of the Ring. But you also had Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon go up against Briscoe and Patterson. And then the Mean Street Posse is going to interfere in that, of course. And they have a new member. They got Joey Abs now joining the fray. And that brings us to the King of the Ring World Championship match, Undertaker versus The Rock. Another solid match. Undertaker's going to retain the championship after about 19 minutes by hitting a tombstone. Paul Bearer gets involved a few times. He uses the ether rag. He uses his shoe a few times.
That's what it's called, the ether rag. I've never really heard it.
Oh, that's what I just
like
call it.
It's funny.
The ether rag.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a pretty good match there. Those basically King of the Ring, the pay-per-view itself. The only two good things about it is just the championship match and the Austin match. That's it. Everything else kind of sucks. And it's mostly the tournament. So let's move on now to the tournament. In the weeks leading up to the tournament, it was pretty good. I liked how they actually booked it because they did the qualifying matches early enough that they got to the final 4, or the final 8 rather, with 2 weeks left. So, and they would focus everything on heat. So all the qualifying matches, all the King of the Ring stuff was on heat only. So it made heat for a better show because you actually got wrestling matches that had some meaning. And it didn't kill Raw like King of the Ring tournaments can do. Because you don't want to watch King of the Ring tournaments on Raw. You want exciting action on Raw and storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, we've given our opinion previously on how we feel.
So
the King of the Ring tournament should really operate.
So, but when they get to this point by Heat 46 and 47 on the 13th and the 20th, they are having all the final 8 or the Elite 8 wrestlers. They're involved in different matches, combination-wise, with each other all the time. So, for instance, there's Kane and X-Pac versus Big Show and Hardcore Holly in a match. And then the next match is Road Dogg and Ken Shamrock versus Mr. Ass in China. And then all the matches, the stipulation matches, those are all really tied to the King of the Ring too. So you had the Dog Pound match was Road Dogg versus Billy Gunn. And China would get involved in that match. She's in the tournament. The reason why China's in the tournament also is that Triple H stepped out of it. He wanted to give it up for China. He wanted her to go prove herself. So he stepped out of the tournament. That's the reason that they explained. And then you had the David Goliath match, which was Big Show versus X-Pac. They're both in the tournament. And then on Heat, they started to have the elimination matches. They had Billy Gunn versus Ken Shamrock versus Kane versus Big Show. And I thought this was pretty cool. I almost thought, this is a pretty cool way of just doing the tournament. Have 2 of these matches. The winners face each other, and that's the king. So they have 2 four-corner elimination matches. Billy Gunn is going to win the first one. Road Dogg versus China versus Hardcore Holly versus X-Pac is the next one. China's actually going to find a way to win that one. And they're making her, in this whole build-up, like she is odds-on favorite. Like she's going to win. She's going to be the first queen of the ring. They say it so many times that I almost thought maybe that was the direction they were actually going to go.
That would, yeah, which would have.
No, I think it actually would have been a good idea because the King of the Ring was getting lame at that point. This could have helped turn things around.
Save it.
So after this, though,
bring back some of the legitimacy to it.
I think after this point, though, I think the next few years are like big time stars, people that become big time stars like Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. A couple other people slipping my mind, but I think it does get a little better again. The past few years kind of sucked. Triple H, Ken Shamrock, then Billy Gunn. China would have been a nice change of pace to have her as the queen, but they didn't go that way. All right, so I'll move on to the tournament because everything else is just like I said. It's just combination matches with different people from the King of the Ring tournament. So we get to the King of the Ring. First match is X-Pac versus Hardcore Holly. X-Pac wins via DQ there. Road Dogg runs in to help X-Pac. X-Pac has an arm injury that's going to play out throughout the night. Kane versus Big Show. There's another match. Kane advances there. Billy Gunn versus Ken Shamrock. Billy Gunn gets the edge over Ken Shamrock. And what actually happens here is Shamrock got his ass kicked. And he's selling injuries. He has internal injuries. And Teddy Long's going to call the match. So it's a good way of getting Shamrock to lose without really losing. Because he's the last King of the Ring. So it sucked for him to lose in the first match. But this was their way of getting him out. Yeah.
Upset.
So yeah, he was attacked backstage. That's why he's already injured. X-Pac's injured. So they're working all that in. All these injuries into the story. Road Dogg versus China. So all this hype for China. She's going to lose in this first match. Road Dogg advances. And this was probably the best match in the tournament. It was Road Dogg versus China. It was pretty good for the expectations that I had for it.
Well, and there's the the relationship behind it.
Right. Well, yeah, that is like that's the backdrop
Yeah.
in this whole tournament. It's all DX people.
Bad blood.
Yeah. Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, China, and X-Pac.
Yep.
And then we go to the semifinals.
I forgot how much D-Generation actually fell apart.
Yeah, it almost just collapsed out of nowhere. It's like, oh wow, it just gradually happened like that. All right, so Billy Gunn goes on to defeat Kane, hits him with a steel chair, and the ref Big Show hits Kane with the chair because Big Show and Kane have some beef going on. Billy Gunn gets the win there. X-Pac versus Road Dogg, another decent match, and they're buddies here, so there's no hate between them. But X-Pac pulls it out. He wins the match after a Bronco Buster. And then in the finals, you get Billy Gunn versus X-Pac. Kind of blah to me. This is not who I would have picked out of those 8 to make it to the finals. Probably would have went Billy Gunn in China. But yeah, so you get Billy Gunn wins. Billy Gunn wins basically no fanfare. They say he's the 1999 King of the Ring, but there's nothing. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, he doesn't get a reaction, which is nuts because I thought he was just from what we've been covering, I kind of was interested in his singles run and slight push.
Yeah, it seems like at this point it was over. He wins it, and they're all set with Billy Gunn. The crowd's like,
he peaked as a singles performer.
Yeah, that was it. So, like I said just moments ago, I think China would have been a better choice to go with.
I agree.
All right, so just not really want to go in too depth with any of this other stuff, but just want to let you know what is going on in the Attitude Era at this point. You got the Test and Stephanie story going on, and they're basically at the point where they're asking, "Oh, what's going on with you guys?" And they're basically like, "No, it's none of your business. None of your business. We're just friends." And Test has that blindfold match with Big Boss Man. Big Boss Man hits Test with a nightstick, and then they call for a DQ, and that's it. And then Stephanie runs out to try to protect him from Bossman, protect Test from Bossman. Yeah, I see title scene. You got Jeff Jarrett as the champion. He defends his title against Test, and Test actually wins the title. But because Deborah is pissed, she goes up to Harvey Whippleman and promises him something. Then Harvey reverses the decision and gives the belt back to Jarrett. So Test got screwed out of the title there. Jarrett also defends against Ken Shamrock, and he actually doesn't defend. He has that non-title match against Shamrock, and then the following week he has a triple threat match, Ken Shamrock and Test, because they both feel like they should have a title shot because one wasn't for the title and the other one got screwed out of the title. Jarrett ends up retaining that also. So Jarrett's finding his way to keep the titles. Deborah actually loses the title, the women's title, finally, on Raw 316. She loses it to Ivory. It's fucking annoying. But she wins it because now she's a heel and she got Nicole Bass on her side. So Nicole Bass is going to chokeslam Deborah. In the tag team title scene, you got the Acolytes as the champs at this point, and they're going to find their ways to defeat D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry on Heat 46. On Raw 316, they have the handicap match against Kane, and they win that. On 317 from June 21st, you have X-Pac, Kane, and Road Dogg against the Acolytes and Billy Gunn. And this is where something strange happens. They put the titles on the line. X-Pac challenges them to put the titles on the line in the match. And Billy Gunn's going to agree to it. And the Acolyte's like, hey, what the fuck? We didn't say that. It's okay. So Billy Gunn puts the titles on the line. He ends up winning the match with the Famouser. And then he leaves with one of the tag belts. And he'll go on to keep wearing it for a little while. So he takes Bradshaw's belt.
I was going to say, it's Bradshaw's that he takes. Yeah.
Yeah, he takes Bradshaw's belt and just walks away with it. And his whole thought process is, I won the title. I'm the champ. I'm the one that agreed to the match, and I won the match. So I'm taking his
take on it.
And then we're starting to get the Hardy Boys involved here. They're going to have a number one contenders match against the Brood. And the Hardy Boys will get a tag team title match against Bradshaw and Farouk on the next Raw, which we would be covering next week. And that was at King of the Ring. And then from there, you got the stupid feud between Val Venus and Prince Albert. And they're putting rings in each other's nose and just that kind of shit's going on still. And finally, to a segment that deserves my oh hell knows, is the GTVs. And on Raw 316, Billy Gunn gets his ass shaved, and he warns the girl, you better not ever talk about seeing this zit on my ass again, or you're never going to shave my ass again. So that's oh hell no. So GTV is going to get my oh hell no. That's just the way it is. And on the next one, it's Al Snow's picking his nose and he eats it, and then he doesn't let Head eat his booger. So that's oh hell no. And then in the last part here, we got Beaver Cleavage in a pretty cool segment, I would say, because they scrap Beaver Cleavage real quick here. This is on Raw 317, June 21st. Beaver's hugging his mother, and he says, he can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And he says, I can't believe it. I'm about to wrestle a guy named Meat. I can't do this. And he takes his shit off and he just walks out. And then the producer in the background says, Chaz, we're live. We're live. So it's supposed to be like a work shoot angle where he's breaking kayfabe, saying, I'm all set with this. I'm not Beaver Cleavage. He's going to just become Chaz from now on after this. So that's our Attitude Era update. That was pretty jam-packed loaded there. A lot of shit happened in these episodes. So, JV, anything left to say about that Attitude Era wrap-up?
No.
All right, so let's get now down to the end here with our bottom line wrap-up and take a look at what's going on in the house show scene during this era. And I bet there's not going to be a whole lot of Austin, because if he's not on Heat, I doubt he's doing anything else.
Yeah, really.
So I'm just going to skip through here. All right, so June 11th, 1999, Austin defeats Undertaker via disqualification in Detroit, Michigan. In Pittsburgh, you get the same result. Austin defeats Undertaker by DQ on June 12th. On June 13th, in Cleveland, Ohio, Austin defeats Undertaker via DQ. On June 18th, Austin defeats Undertaker via DQ in Dallas, Texas. It's crazy how often these guys have matches with each other on a night-to-night basis. June 19th, Austin defeats Undertaker. And I don't just mean them. It's every match is the same, basically, on all these cards, night after night. It's like going to a concert where the band just plays the same music. Over and over again.
Yeah.
Same set list.
In the same order.
Right, exactly. So So you'd be like, oh, what did they play last night at this place? Like, oh, yeah, that's what they're going to do then. All right, then we go to the Madison Square Garden show. That's the big show usually every couple months. And Austin defeats Undertaker via DQ when Paul Bearer pulled referee Earl Hebner from the ring and Austin hit the champion with the stunner. That was in New York, Madison Square Garden. And that brings us to the King of the Ring, where our show comes to a close. So we had a whole lot of Undertaker versus Stone Cold from that June 6th through June 27th period on the house shows. All right, oh hell yeah moment of the week. I'll kick it off first. It's definitely the segments from Raw 316 of Austin. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to say the one with Matt DeLuca. The couple of segments with Matt DeLuca, actually. So, because those carried on from the human resource office to the accounting office. That is my oh hell yeah moment. And just in general, all those clips would be my oh hell yeah for this week. JV, what do you got?
I was going to say the actual entire episode of Raw 316. I don't know, it's just an excellent episode, and that, there's so many hell yeah moments. It was hard to pick just one. But if you're going to force my hand and make me pick one, I'd probably say when they all got to chug the beers.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah,
it's crazy for us to even say. We said those things there. Those are all hell yeah moments, but the match too is right on par. The King of the Ring match is up there as a potential oh hell yeah too.
Right.
So definitely something that you need to go back and watch. Basically, everything on this episode that we've covered is watchable. To go back and watch, you got to check that out.
I mean, we were kind of in an Austin lull, really, if you recall, in our coverage of episodes.
Yep.
So it's really jam packed here today.
Yeah, I know. Even last week when this was done, and we were ready to do it, and you weren't able to get through all of it. I was like, wow, shit, that was gonna be a long one. And I don't think we're wrong here. So it's looking like
when I was doing the audio cuts, I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be a long one. But it's worth it. It's all like good audio.
Yeah, it's good shit.
It's not like painful to listen to or anything.
Right. And last week we put out a short episode, so
right
makes up for it a little bit.
Oh hell no!
All right, so oh hell no, I said I got my GTVs. What do you have for oh hell no?
After thinking about it, oh hell no is going to be Billy Gunn winning one title, because you're supposed to know how tag team belts fucking work, dude. It's
Right.
Never worked like that.
He's had a shit ton of tag team championship matches.
You can't just change something that's been in place for like 50 years and just be like, oh yeah, I'm taking. That's not how it works. They're tag titles.
Yeah, it was a 6-man tag match too. Wasn't even a normal tag.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's a good oh hell no.
It's like having the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's like, you can just give away one stone. You take the whole gauntlet. You want them all.
Yeah, and that's not even just oh hell no. That's like a what the fuck moment.
Yeah, that's a the
What?
fuck you doing, WWE?
What moment?
The fuck? Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to change it to that when he starts saying what. What's your what moment of the week?
Yeah. No. That's good. That's definitely happening now. That's a great idea.
All right, so next week we'll be back with episode 52. We'll be covering June into July. So it'll be June 28th, July 5th, and July 12th. Those will be the episodes we'll be covering of Raw, plus the heats in between. And our heats are going to be coming to an end, which I think is a good thing. But heat's coming to an end soon because we're getting...
Fifth to last one. We just covered.
Yeah, we're just basically done with the heats that are available to us. There are still more heats. They just didn't put them up on the network.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they just hadn't put them up yet. Which is funny to me to now think that, wow, we're actually going to watch all those heats. So when the next drop comes, we can kind of just pick up, not for the show, but just in general. It's like, I watched all of them. I might as well just keep watching a little bit.
Yeah, watch them anyway. But it's just weird how they don't have all the Heat episodes, but they have all the Hardcore TV episodes for ECW.
Yeah, that is strange. Maybe there was just more of a need for it. Maybe it's just I figured out more people are going to watch this than watch.
Yeah, might be harder editing too. Who knows?
Yeah. Plus, they're probably just doing things in little spurts anyway. They gotta find a way to keep their jobs. They don't want to drop everything. All right, so like I said, next week we'll be back with that for episode 52. And before we go, we want to give our shout outs to our podcast pals, starting first with Talking Taker, who we joined last week. We did a special watch along episode for them because they had one of the co-hosts, Travis, was out, so Alex asked us to be part of it, and we did a watch along for Fully Loaded 1998, which we covered here on the show about 6 months ago, and we got a chance to do a watch along, and that was pretty damn fun, and it was nice. I like how Alex did it. He did it. He basically interviewed us a bunch too, so we got to answer some questions. So if you want to learn some more about us, check out that episode, and also continue to check out Talking Taker, where they break down the career of The Undertaker. They're available on Twitter at Talking Taker, and you can just search Talking Taker anywhere. Find their podcast.
Oh, and I do my my Stone Cold impression.
That's right. JV released his
episodes, which I'll be doing here shortly. It's timing.
Yeah, it's got to be the right
Can't be
move.
screaming like Stone Cold at 10:30 at night.
I think you'll probably do it on a watch along, most likely.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe the Fully Loaded watch along that's coming up in a few weeks. So this week on the Talking Taker podcast, they're dropping episode 114, and that is Armageddon, and it's Undertaker versus Randy Orton in their fourth match within the last 6 months, and it's a Hell in a Cell match from December of 2005. And so that is Talking Taker, and take a quick listen to Alex talk about the show.
Oh, hell yeah. What's up, Stone Cold fans? This is Alex Dorio, one of the hosts of Talking Taker. And along with my co-host and fellow creature of the night, Travis White, we are digging up the career of the dead man, one pay-per-view match at a time, on a podcast journey that's a lot like what you're listening to right now on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. So if you're enjoying what Mike and JV are doing here, going through the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, come check us out as we explore The Undertaker's 3 decades of destruction. We're right in the midst of the Biker Taker era right now, so you can jump right in or start over from the beginning and hear us discuss The Undertaker's side of the story, from his many battles with the Rattlesnake, The Rock, Mankind, and more. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify, and more. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Talking Taker. Thanks to Mike and JV for letting us plug the show, and take her easy. What? I said, take her easy.
I also want to give a special shout out to our friends at Booking the Territory, the unprofessional wrestling podcast with Mike Mills, Hard Body Hopper, and Doc Turner. And those guys are breaking down episodes of NWA World Championship Wrestling Saturday nights. And they're currently in 1988. This week on Thursday, they're covering June 25th, 1988. They drop those episodes every Thursday night. And they also on Sunday nights drop the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Recap. This week is episode 166, April 1st, 1995. So check out Booking the Territory, the unprofessional wrestling podcast. They do a great show. And also check us out again on their Patreon feed, Booking the Territory, the $5 tier, for Extreme ECW Live Cast. And again, this week we are dropping our 11th episode, which is covering episodes 23 and 24 of ECW Hardcore TV from September 14th and September 21st. And you can follow us on Twitter at ExtremeCast. And also, be sure to check out our friend Jay Free on Free Your Geek for all your pop culture information. And his latest episode is an episode that JV and I were also on. It is the WWE Draft Special, where JV and I and Jay Free draft our own fantasy rosters for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So that was
a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a good time. So definitely,
we were bookers basically.
Yeah, it was
GMs.
awesome.
It was cool.
Yeah, so you get to hear our approach to modern wrestling on that one, actually. So we give you a little taste here and there, but we like to stay focused on 1999 here. Oh yeah, we really get into modern wrestling on that episode.
It's a different perspective, different insight to us. So you get a different viewpoint.
It felt good to go back and talk a little bit about modern stuff, because that's what we used to do on our old show, the Hurricane Rana. Wrestling podcast.
Yeah, it was. I'd like to wonder what our listeners' feedback is. So if you go check out Free Your Geek, share with us your opinions, please.
Yeah, that would be great. So you can reach out to us with those opinions on Facebook and Twitter.
What?
You can reach out to me at MPRU83. You can reach out to JV at John Van Damage. And again, we're always at Bottom Line Cast.
What?
And also, please give us a review on iTunes. 5-star review. Nice little write-up if you have something good to say. And that would be greatly appreciated. But thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks for hanging in there for episode 51 as we continue our journey through the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm Mike Prue. JV, anything else you got to say?
No, sir.
All right, so we'll let Forrest Gump close us out. Take care. Have a good one. So long.
And that's all I have to say about that.